In this tutorial we're going to have a look at audio files. Basically we're looking at the types of audio files supported by Live and how Live works with them. So there's two main audio file types that Live works with, and that's compressed audio files and uncompressed audio files. Now Live can only actually work on uncompressed audio files. Only any of the warping features or any of the things that you will want to use in Live all need the audio to be uncompressed. So even though Live does support compressed audio file types like MP3 and so on, it needs to decode them first and turn them into uncompressed audio files. So first of all, we'll just go over the file types that are available to Live. The uncompressed file types are .wav or .wav, .aif or AIF. Oh, I have both of these in my browser. If there's a .wav there. In the library I have some .aifs in the sample folder here, .aif. And on Mac you can also get SD2s, which aren't available on PC, but that's another type of uncompressed audio file. Also we have Rex files. Now that's a new addition to Live 7. Rex files you may have heard of if you've ever used Reason or Recycle. And Rex files are their proprietary format that stores information within the file about slicing points. So the types are .rx2 that we can see here. And there's another older type that's just called .rex. Now you can drag these straight to an audio track like you can with any audio file. And you can see there all these yellow lines there that indicates where the slice points are. So they're all the uncompressed file formats that Live handles. As for the compressed file formats, the formats are MP3, AAC or MP4, the Apple formats, FLAC or FLAC, OGG FLAC, and OGG Vorbis. Now they're all different types of compressed files that Live can work with. But as I said, Live doesn't work directly on them. It needs to decode them first. So in order to do that, there needs to be a folder on the hard drive called the decoding cache. That's where the WAV files that Live creates when it decodes an MP3 are stored. And you can set where that goes. It basically goes in the temporary folder that you specify in the preferences under the File Folder tab. You can see here, temporary folder. You've got a browse button there for you to choose where it goes. You can set here under decoding cache how much of your hard drive it will use. This setting here, minimum free space, that's the minimum amount of free space that will be left on your hard drive after the decoding cache is full. So Live will just be aware of how much space is left on the hard drive, and as soon as there's only 500 megabytes left, then it will stop allowing you to decode files. Likewise, you can set the maximum cache size. By default it's 10 gigabytes. You need to turn that button on though. And you've also got this cleanup button here that allows you to get rid of any unused files that you're not using anymore. Now the reason all this stuff is important is that if you are planning to do a DJ set and you've got a whole big folder full of all your tracks, you might have hundreds or even thousands of tracks all on an external hard drive or something, then really you need to be fully aware of the fact that when you start loading them into Live, it would need to decode them. And once it's decoded them and created a full-sized WAV or AIF file, those files will be up to 10 or 12 times the size of the compressed version. So that's really important to be aware of, and especially as well to know where your decoding cache is, because you can see here it's on my C drive. So that means I need enough free space on my C drive to be able to handle all the files that I want to load into Live. So really, generally speaking, if you are going to go and do a DJ set with Live, personally I'd recommend before you go and do that set, just load in the actual tracks you're going to want to use. Even if it's more than you're going to actually play, load in the maximum amount of tracks that you're going to want to need. Don't just load everything in later on. Just check that you've got enough hard disk space basically. So if you load them all in, then it will decode them then, and then later on when you go to do the gig they'll already be decoded, and it'll save time and you have to start dragging them into the set. Now another thing to know with audio files or audio clips is they also have to be analysed in order for Live to work on them. Now you know if a file's been analysed because it's got that little tick there that you can barely even see. And if I go to that location in Explorer, just wait for that to come up, we can see there's the file. If I sort by name, then we can see right next to that file there, PokerFlat Loop 02, you can see PokerFlat Loop02.wav.asd. And that's the analysis file that stores the analysis information and also any settings that you save in the clip. And what that means is when that's created, all the settings will be saved in that file if you use the save button inside a clip, this one here. And also it means it doesn't need to be analysed every single time you use it. So just to flick back, if I was to delete that one there, everywhere original.asd, just delete that file. Then I come back in here, we can now see that little tick's gone on that file. And if I drag that now into a track, you can see it's now taking a bit of time to load in there. That's because that's now being analysed. So we now have to wait for that to happen. So you can imagine if you've got a full set that you're about to do a gig and you've got loads and loads of these tracks, to have to do this while you're about to play is really not a good idea. So you need to do this beforehand. And you can actually analyse all the songs in a folder just in one go. If you're not using your computer and you're going to go and do something else, you can just right click on that folder that they're in, say it's this one here, and you've got this option here, Analyse Audio. And that will basically go through that whole folder and analyse every single track and create one of those .asd files, so that you can then just drag that file in. See, if I get rid of that now, you see when I drag that in, it's there straight away. It doesn't need to be analysed anymore. Because that's an MP3, it also needed to be decoded, but that decoded .wav file will be in the decoding cache right now. If I go there, if we have a look in there, there we go, everywhere original.wav, and you can see that's 84 megabytes, which is considerably more than the MP3 version. So yeah, that's important to remember as well when working with audio files. That's pretty much it. That's all we need to cover here. Thanks for watching. See you next time.